Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day once more. Taking a look here at Solana. Oh boy, the struggle is real, but we got to recognize that Bitcoin retracing had a pretty monumental pullback this morning. So this candle wick to that 215 range was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. So I wouldn't say it's cause for concern, but we're right here at the support range, previous resistance. There's a decent chance we hold, but we don't want to hold on to that idea or that concept. You also probably don't want to short until we actually break through that support level too. So we're kind of in this weird little transition. So I would recommend, again, just being a little more patient if possible. I know it's not easy. And we're going to look and see if there's any opportunities here, of course. There might be actually some really good opportunities to take along, but until Bitcoin breaks above its key level resistance here at about 96.3, that's that golden pocket, we're in not really, it's not really advisable to take a long here just yet because Bitcoin could still pull back. But we're seeing a lot of volume flowing in too after that little retracement there from likely a fundamental catalyst from South Korea with martial law, declaring martial law. So there's some really strange things going on right now, but the truth is, a little too early to tell. I want to say thank you. So, first of all, to open up with this here, look at this: 63 new subscribers out just from watching yesterday's video here from Solana. So, thank you again. Welcome aboard. Looking forward to working with you. You want to become a better trader again? CryptoCash.tech is a site. Link down below. We got a lot of new traders coming on board. There's obviously it's just a good resource for people, so please feel free to check it out at your own time. And I'm considering maybe a belated or a late Black Friday option. We'll see. Anyways, regards to that fact, what I'm getting at here is Solana is the fact that we have a lot of liquidation on the downside has been swept. So that local 220 to 215, as I mentioned before, potential area of consideration is now taken care of. So good news is that little candle wick down kind of helped a little bit. I wouldn't say it's great, obviously depending on what kind of leverage you're using, but if you use low leverage, you shouldn't have any cause for concern, right? So it's not a big deal. Really good stuff here in a general sense to see that support level held and that liquidation level to be swept. So the reason why that's positive though, folks, is just because there's a little less merit or incentive to push the price action lower from the market makers, right? We take a look at the macro though, we can kind of recognize here that obviously there's larger liquidation levels to the downside. 210 has a chunk of change there, but we're still a ways away from that. Until we lose support, there's no reason to cause or to run for the hills, if you will. Now, having said that, though, liquidation delta here for the shorts is getting a little high and it's getting a little exaggerated. So it's only been about 2 days here so far, day and a half, so I'm not super concerned with it, but this is a 5-day look back. When you look at this, this short liquidation delta being too high, it basically implies there's too many shorts in the market. Market makers recognize that and they usually pump the price action because of it. So I would not be surprised if we see a Solana push to the upside here soon, at the very least, maybe a dead cat bounce or perhaps just a little bit of a relief rally. Because if Bitcoin can run towards 100K, I think Solana will recover just nicely. We just need Bitcoin to stop these knee-jerk reactions, right? And again, it's not like we could just wave a magic wand and that happens, but if that were to occur, I think Solana would probably be much better off, as would most altcoins. Anyways, open interest, just to kind of round this out here, first of all, it'll be a little easier to see this way. We can see 226, basically 227 if you round up a little bit, is that local area of interest, basically that open interest. So that's a tentative resistance for us. Okay, so we need to be above that in order to have some confidence in the price action recovering. Let's take a quick look at the daily time frame. We're gonna go down here from there because the daily time frame to me gives me perspective on how I plan to take a trade. In a lot of ways, it just kind of gives me an overall mentality shift, if you will. And what I mean by that is the 20-day SMA being below that, we lost that yesterday pretty substantially. It's important to recognize that trading into that with a long position is just inherently a little bit more risky. Okay, that's all it is. It doesn't mean that's a key level resistance, which coincidentally it's averaging itself out at the local point of control at 237. So it is true that 237, getting above that level is important. That's kind of what I drew out on the charts yesterday with my playout chart, which by the way, those are available on my Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you're not familiar. You can kind of see them here. It's available for you if you ever want to take a look. Anyways, what I want to say here though is the daily time frame is we're on the last leg of defense here. In other words, we're right at 50 in the RSI. Generally speaking, 50 in the RSI is a common support level. Okay. Now, again, taking a long into support right now when we are in a bearish trend is generally going to be a higher risk trade. It's not worthwhile or advantageous to consider. Granted, A lot of people that, really strong backing on this coin will probably disagree, but the common term here is that, taking a long into support in a descending trend doesn't make a ton of sense, right? You want to wait for that descending trend line to be broken, and then you consider taking a long once we establish range-bound activity, which we kind of are on smaller time frames, but right now at this point, too early to tell. Whole point of me mentioning this is that we have a doji candle forming here. We can close at 225 or higher, maybe even to say 226 or higher, somewhere above this local point of control, this open interest area, then we'd be in a better shape there to not only have closed above support, but also we'd have a doji candle close at that point. And that's a really important thing. Again, doji candles on downtrends like this have a tendency of showing signs of reversal. So for example, uptrend doji reversal there, price action pulled back. It basically just tells us in a 24-hour period, there was an indecisive moment between the bulls and the bears, and the bears eventually give way because the price is so overextended. In this case, an overextended doji candle into a down, a decrease in value would likely lead to a reversal to the upside. Okay, so again, just a glimmer of hope there. Once more, at this point, based on everything we see here, money flow index kind of low. This isn't really a great sign. I'm not recommending you take a long, just saying if you do, there is some sensibility to it, but it's also higher risk, right? So again, do you take higher risk trades with the chance of converting, or do you want to take a trade that just has a higher potential probability? Again, I'm not perfect. We took a near protocol short yesterday. The price shot straight up as soon as I sent the signal. So by no means am I perfect by any stretch. But we did average about 75% last month for our trades. And again, while that's not monumental or amazing, that's usually on the lower side of that. And I mentioned that just because trading with confirmation kind of leads to that, right? I'm not just flipping a coin and hoping for the best. Once more, statistical probabilities is where we're at here. So 4-hour time frame, we're under 50 on the hour side. What does that mean for us? Mostly bearish, not a good long consideration. Money flow index is below the RSI, telling us that there's less money to support this price action. And in turn, that support level or the range that we're in right now isn't quite substantial. Okay. We're also going to take a look at the pairing between Bitcoin and Solana here shortly, and you'll see how bad Solana is behaving compared to Bitcoin pumps, and how strong it's responding to Bitcoin dumps. It's not a good pairing at all. Anyways, stochastic RSI swinging down. These are generally unfavorable. We're underneath every single moving average, minus 200. Like I mentioned previously, not a big deal, but again, it's important to recognize that we do have some support in the 215 range, but absolutely take that with a grain of salt. That's not like a specific, that's nothing to worry about. What I'm getting at here is that a lot of people put a significant amount of emphasis on moving averages as far as them being support levels. They're not, they're mostly just trends, okay? As we can see here, this 50-day SMA moving right down here perfectly with this descending trend line, basically just letting us know that lower highs and lower lows are consistently occurring, okay? It's just a way to identify that, that's all. Hourly time frame, Ichimoku cloud, let's confirm we're still below the cloud. Yep. Lagging span is now within the price action, not necessarily a good sign to take a short. So again, if you're shorting into a support, you want to wait for that support level to be broken first. So at this point here, if we close below 220, that might be a different story. But with us being at 220 or higher, we're in that support range, and it's just kind of a consideration of, to recognize that we're not in a good, decisive, short trading scenario, okay? Last but not least, of course, we're also below the cloud, and that's not really favorable either. Okay? So long story short here, I would say is that Solana is not ready for a long or a short. We're kind of retesting a support level. Generally speaking, you can find success taking a long at support, but as I mentioned previously, minus a couple of outliers, we're in a descending trend right now. Descending trends are going to continue until they don't. So we got to just wait for the price action to recover. So yesterday's playout chart is probably pretty synonymous with today at this point. I would say at this current level, unless we close above, just say 237, we have really no reason to consider a long position. However, from a short-term perspective, we could wait until the price action closes above the cloud, and that would be a cause for consideration to take a long once we've broken this descending trend. So just say we close 230 or higher within 24 hours from now, that's a different story. Okay. I know, folks. I'm sorry. This wasn't exactly what you were looking for as far as maybe magical entry points or some kind of hidden bullish, bearish divergence. Double clutch. There's no reason to take a trade with Solana right now. There's tons of other opportunities. And honestly, the whole rest of the market too, even though there's a lot of opportunities, it's very janky. Bitcoin is just not responding very well. and altcoins are doing really weird things. Last but not least, here, this is what I wanted to mention here too. Just take a quick look at this, just to give you perspective here. So on the left-hand side, we got Bitcoin. Just kind of give you, kind of a perspective on the price action, how Bitcoin is matched with Solana. Okay, because on the right-hand side here, we got, let's do 4 hour time frame. All right, so take a look here. We can see when Bitcoin ramps up, this is what Solana is doing. Okay. It's pulling back twice as hard with Bitcoin. And you can see it multiple times too. Like even here recently, the same thing occurred. Bitcoin recovered really swift and Solana didn't. So that leads me to believe that, you're probably going to find a little more success shorting Solana than you will take it long, but it's hard to want to justify a short into it. I know this illustration was poor, I get that, but take it from me, the pairing between Bitcoin and Solana is very, very rigid and is not very good. And I wouldn't expect monumental things from either coin at this point. You're probably better off trading other altcoins. So anyways, I'll post our playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. We're looking for a closure, again, above the 230 range to confirm some type of potential uptrend for Solana. And I would say a closure below 220 could indicate further downside of that low 200 mark. All right, folks, hope you have a good rest of your day. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this too. Bitunix, folks, $12,000 deposit bonus this month. Check it out. If you've already used my link to register, you're eligible. If not, use my link now and check it out. We'll be happy to celebrate in those rewards here this month. All right, folks, have a good one. We'll see you the next one. Take care.